Welcome to your rest of November 2025 messages. This is an all signs reading, and as always, I encourage you to listen to all 12 signs, not just your big three. And if you want to know more about why I say that, check out my video below called Know Your Signs. You have all 12 signs in your chart, and so if anything resonates with you, I encourage you to grab that journal and write it down. Even if you don't think you have any planets in that sign, I have a free PDF tutorial that helps you get your birth chart for free and see what signs you have besides the big three. But really what we're doing here is we're listening for anything that really resonates, anything that gives you angel bumps, anything that feels like it's resonating directly with you. And as always, you are very welcome here. Thank you for being here. I thought this would be a great topic. I am recording this early. Now, a lot of you join me live for my videos every week, and I am so grateful for that. Normally, I go live at 11 a.m. Central on Wednesdays, but things have been pretty up in the air lately. Let's call it the retrograde energy. We'll see, but a lot has been going on. I've had to move my schedule a lot, so thank you to all of you who have been patient with me about that. Many of you saw last week I did a fantastic reading with Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot. He's so intuitive and so powerful. We talked about what you need to know right now, so check that out if you missed it. And also we did this time next year, the month before. So much great information in there. So these messages are to kind of give you an update to get you started going right now. That's why I want you to write everything down. This Thursday, at the time I'm recording this video, this Thursday, November 20th, I am hosting a free workshop on the numerology we are experiencing moving into 2026. So if you haven't already, please sign up. It's totally free. Linked below. It will not be on YouTube. It's only on Zoom. I'm going to be talking about this powerful transition where we're moving from a 9-year in 2025 into a 1-year in 2026 and how this affects you. I went all the way back to 1908 and I looked at all the times we ended a 9 and went into a 1 with numerology. I'm going to show you how you can apply this with your numerology and see what you might expect moving into this brand new cycle as a collective. One of the things we'll talk about is your personal year too, so you can understand what's going on for you personally versus the collective anytime we move from a 9 to a 1. So I'm super excited about it. I've done loads of research, and it's one of the reasons I will not be going live this Wednesday, because I want to be making sure everything is up and running perfectly for that workshop. Again, it's totally free. It's going to be 11 a.m. Central, November 20th. If you can't make it live, as long as you've signed up at the link below, you will get the replay. I'm just not going to be putting it on YouTube. It's actually for my community. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what my community is, Coffee with Devin, in the middle of it, but we're going to be doing some Q&A, and I already have so many of you signed up. I'm so excited to connect with all of you, and I've just been really enjoying getting all this information together. Numerology was one of my first big starts, working with intuition and things like that. I'd always had my connection with the angels and my, different things that I had, dream premonitions and things like that, animal communication, but numerology is where I started really digging into my chart. It eventually led me to astrology, and I am now an astrologer as well. So really, really fun tools. And what's fun about it is you don't have to have your birth chart information to understand how it works. You do need to go deeper into numerology, you do need to have your original birth name. But we're not going to be doing any of that for this workshop. All you will need is your birth day, and I'll be showing you how to do that, and of course birth year, but we're going to go into all that later. I want to get into your readings now. I just got so excited talking about it that I got a little distracted, but we're going to jump into all 12 signs now. Like I said, this is going to be for the rest of November. As always, I will do some action messages at the end. I like to give you a little bonus and say, okay, do these things now, is kind of what helps us apply the energy. And, that way you can take whatever resonates, even if you don't normally listen to that sign, and use those actions to pull together. So let's switch over to camera number 2. I'm going to show you here. I am using the Guardian Angel Tarot deck. I think this is Animal Wisdom Tarot. I should have brought the box next to me, and this is the Dream deck. We're going to be going through all 12 signs, and then like I said, at the end, we will definitely do your bonus messages. All right, so let's get started with the Aries. What do we have for Aries for the rest of November? First, we had this King of Air, knowledgeable, objective, respective, beautiful energy going into the end of the month. We have Six of Pentacles here. I really like that for the Aries. You guys have been working so hard to move on. And then we have Purple. We had the Third Eye. We have Clairvoyance. Yeah, so Aries, basically what they're wanting you to know is you have really worked hard to master your message, master the things that you want to bring to fruition, the things you want to complete, the places you want to go. And you have been really having to step into this power with people around you. And that's one of the messages I've gotten for you guys a lot is you have been having to delegate more, rely on others more, but you have really worked on your communication. So that has helped things. Now, at the time that I am recording these messages, we are in a Mercury retrograde, and that's okay because that can give you an opportunity to revise the way you communicate, review. I know a lot of Aries that are currently redoing their website with their branding and their marketing. I know a lot of Aries that are changing the way they communicate with their partners or their people that work with them so that it's easier and it's more efficient. So this is something you want to be looking for between now and the end of the month, or ways that you can continue to streamline your communication with the people that you need to support you. Now, this could be with a loved one, this could be with a spouse. So let's keep going a little further. I do feel like with this Six of Pentacles card, though, it's like you're finally getting things running in a way where you can breathe and you can start to see things moving forward, whether that's starting to see more income coming through the door with the work you're doing. Maybe you're making progress with a big change, like moving or taking a relationship to the next level. But this purple card here, this Third Eye Clairvoyance card here, is a reminder not to forget to check in with your intuition before you're having this communication with those around you, especially with Mercury retrograde. It could be that you are doing a masterful job of communicating your message, but the other person is really feeling the retrograde and they're not receiving it. That's an RE word. I always talk about RE words with Mercury retrograde. Some people can't receive the information very well during a Mercury retrograde. I personally am a Mercury retrograde natally. When I was born, Mercury was retrograde. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like flipping a switch for me. If something I normally do, I tend to rely more on my intuition. During a retrograde, I'll go more analytical with it. If it's something that I need to be more analytical with, I tend to not want to do it. I want to be more intuitive with it. So I want you to think about that for you. Maybe even reflect on the last couple of Mercury retrogrades we had this year and ask yourself, did I forget to check in with my gut before I shared that information? Because what you really want is this steady balance to the give and take of the work you're doing. So you want people to be supporting you with the work you're doing and you're offering them support. And then you also want there to be a balance there where it's not, you're not feeling like you're overworked and you're not feeling like they're not contributing enough. So you might need to have that communication like, hey, I kind of need more from you on this. But listen to your intuition about the right time to have that conversation. I'm pretty much calling all of November Mercury retrograde, even though it technically goes direct. I want to say it's like the 29th. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's still going to be in shadow. And shadow means it's still moving through the degrees that it already retrograded past. So it's still not as clear as when it's fully moving direct and out of the range that it retrograded through. So that's why I would say if there's anything that you know you need to be very masterful with the way you share your information, with the way you communicate, just checking in with your intuition and even asking for a sign, hey, is now the right time to share this information? I've done that before where I've wanted to go, maybe post a video on my YouTube channel or send an email. Checking in with my intuition is now the time that's in my highest interest. Send me a loud and clear sign, and I will often get a really loud and clear sign. Usually if it's a yes, I'll feel an excitement in my heart, and if it's a wait, then I'll see something else or I'll get a feeling like it's kind of unclear, right? And if it's unclear, that's not really a yes. Maybe I need more information. Maybe I need to do more research. Chris and I talked about that a lot on our video last week about, it is a great time for research. So again, you might be researching better ways to communicate, Aries. So I really like this for you guys. I think you're going to have a very productive rest of your month. So let me know how you're doing. All right, now we're going to move on to Tauruses. For Tauruses, what do we have for the rest of November? We have the illusion, dependency, materialism. Okay, interesting. It's the ego card. Then we have the hermit card here, going within. Interesting. And then we have the winter card, reflection, transition, release. Wow, Taurus says, I really see this for you guys because it's something you're needing. You're needing a break. And what you're being asked to do for the rest of November is to really take a break from the daily grind if you can. I know a lot of Tauruses, you have these big plans for the month or by the end of the year, things you got to get done. You don't have a choice about getting it done. Make sure you are setting time away during your daily routine for rest, for relaxation, to really enjoy your surroundings. Now, I do feel like with this Hermit card here too, though, there is something that's really causing you to have to reflect, RE, Mercury retrograde, on the past a lot. And maybe that you can use that to your advantage to really go within and allow yourself to be introspective. And what I'm feeling that you need to do is to remind yourself, RE, how far you've come. Is there something coming to an end this year for you that when you look back at when this cycle started, you really need to give yourself credit for how far you've come. And as I said, we're going to be talking about this in my numerology workshop. We are all going to be ending collectively a 9-year cycle with numerology, because if you net 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, 2025, you get a net 9, right? Well, that's an end for the collective. Then going into a new cycle, we'll go into a 1 with 2026. Where are you on that chart? Because one example, I'm going to be giving personal examples to demonstrate, but every time the collective is in a 9-year, I'm in a 6-year. And the themes are undeniable. What shifted for me versus what shifted for the collective. And you will find that is the case for you as well. You don't even have to necessarily look at the numerology. I think you already know what I'm talking about. What came to an end this year, and where are you headed in 2026 that you can really feel confident? And I feel like with this winter card here, Taurus, is, again, it's reflection, transition, release. So it's very much like, this may even be, no, this is the dream deck, but it's similar to the Hermit card because you're going within and you're doing that reflection and you're doing things to make yourself feel cozy and secure. And I feel like where you're headed now, Taurus, is a place of finally feeling that balance in security. You're feeling more secure with your material world. You're feeling more secure with your emotional world, with your surroundings, with the people that are in your world. But I want to really invite you to give yourself credit for how far you've come. And for the people that are in your life right now that are going with you into this next cycle, understanding that you're a different person than you were 3, 4, 9 years ago, right? And some of the people that are going with you are because you've grown, because of the work you've done. Now there are going to be people that may also choose to go on their own path. You already have probably said this to them. They probably already are not in your life, but you're reflecting back on it. What I'm seeing is maybe because it's a Mercury retrograde, you're reflecting on a past relationship, an ex-boss, that kind of thing, and wishing them well on their journey and being grateful for the time you had together, but moving on with the new space. So I feel like it's almost like you've been through a personal winter for several years now, and now you're finally getting the opportunity to see beyond that and see into the spring, so to speak. So I really think for the Tauruses, if you can take as much time as you can every day to do some reflecting, it's really going to help you with your energy as we move into Sagittarius season, where it's going to start picking up again, right? And that's actually happening towards the end of this week. But we're not going to really feel it probably until we get closer to December, especially after Mercury goes direct. All right, Geminis, what do we have for you guys for the rest of November? We have the 8 of Air card, self-doubt, confusion, free will. We have the King of Wands card. Look at that. I love that for the Geminis. And we have the yellow card, flexibility, adaptability, personal power. Beautiful for the Geminis. So first of all, with this 8 of Air card, I think this is something that is coming up for you guys because you've really made some big changes this year. You've really put some boundaries in place, and it's very normal to have a moment of was that the right decision, right? And we have Mercury retrograde, so you're going to be rethinking things. You're going to be wondering if that was the right time to act or that was the right way to communicate that. Just watch out for that. Don't undo all the work you did leading up to now. That's normal for Mercury retrograde. And again, I know it's cliche, but there are people that tend to come back from your past during this time. Even sometimes they just come in your thoughts or in your dreams. You're just driving down the road and you're like, whoa, I haven't thought about that person forever. Why did I just think about them? There's probably something there that's triggering an old insecurity of yours. And it's kind of a test. Like, we're reviewing the reasons, we're reviewing the reasons that you made these choices. You changed jobs, you changed relationships, you changed where you live, you changed your routines, things like that. And now you're going, okay, I did all those things. Do I have any regrets over that? RE. So regrets can come up, but it feels like it's just a question. Like, do you really regret that? Or are you really grateful that these things changed for you so that you could have that freedom? And that's what I'm seeing here. Because with this King of Wands card, it's something very creative, something very exciting, something you're very passionate about that you made these changes for. And, I guess an example would be maybe earlier this year, you did take a leap of faith and leave a steady job for something not quite so steady to be able to pursue your passions. Or maybe you did really set some boundaries with family members so that you had this time to work on these creative projects. And maybe it caused some ruffled feathers. It caused some conversations that weren't very comfortable, but you had to stand your ground. And now here we are at the end of the year, going into holiday season. Here in the US, we have Thanksgiving next week. So you're going to be around these people again, and they're going, wait a minute, I want to go back and rehash that discussion. That's going to be another thing you guys see with Mercury retrograde around the Thanksgiving table, something you feel like you already put to bed, maybe coming up to be rehashed out again. But with this yellow card, flexibility, adaptability, personal power, okay, this represents your solar plexus chakra as well, that right around the belly button here in the middle. Then remember your personal power, the power that allowed you to leave these things behind, that allowed you to move away things you didn't want anymore, so you could be more passionate, so you could be more creative, so you could be more in love with day-to-day life. Remember, you have the power to maintain that, even within these conversations. If people are wanting to, they're wanting to bring things up from the past, and you're saying, I don't want to discuss that anymore. Boundary. This is my decision. This is what I'm doing. Now, when it's around a project that you really, really love, it can be easy for people to take to kind of get at your weaker, more vulnerable points, but if you remember why you did it, I think it's going to help you really tap into this sacral chakra. And so what I'm hearing for a lot of the Geminis, and really, again, I encourage you to listen to all 12 signs. This could be for any of you that resonates. Before you're around these people, like let's say you are going home for Thanksgiving, or you're going to be around people that you've had to set some boundaries with over the holidays, try doing something really good for building up your self-confidence before you go into those situations. Like maybe you're sitting and listening to some high vibrational music and doing your affirmations. You're doing some journaling. Maybe you're getting on the phone with a coach who's really supported you on this path before you walk into that conversation. Or maybe you're just having some things in your back pocket that you're going to talk about to change this topic. So I'll do this sometimes if I feel like things might get a little intense and somebody might want to fall back into an old argumentative pattern. Have some things you could bring up as a topic and change the subject politely and compassionately so that we can move away from that energy. So you have the personal power to do that, Geminis. I believe in you guys. Just have your tools with you. I think that's going to be what's most helpful. All right, moving on. I got my mouse in the way here. Where'd you go? There's my mouse. Lost my mouse so I could change the icons. Cancers, what do we have for you for the rest of November? We have the 9 of Earth card, contentment, luxury, independence. I do feel like you've been wanting a little bit more quiet time, Cancers, with the last readings we've been getting for you guys. 7 of Wands, beautiful. Now, this is a card of protecting what you've created, defending your ground, standing your ground. This interesting. It's got the crocodile up there defending its ground to these other ones down there. And then we have this dream card here, Moonstone, mystery and intuition. Yeah, Cancers, you guys have an opportunity to take your psychic abilities and your intuition to next level. You guys are already highly intuitive and really psychic, but I want you to take extra time to yourself to work on that, to address the things that are coming in, especially when it comes to protecting your privacy, protecting the things you want for peace of mind in your life. And when I say privacy, I mean like the things that you aren't up for discussion with others. Like you have chosen to go down a certain spiritual path, and then you get around the family member that's very traditional and they're criticizing your path. That's not up for discussion, right? This is your choice. This is your private matter. If you want to have the discussion, that's fine. We do have the Seven of Wands card here, but it is about protecting your path forward, protecting how far you've come. So with this Moonstone card here, I think you're getting some very similar messages to the Aries, where it is going to be about listening to your intuition before you're communicating a thought or an idea, before you're saying yes to an invitation, before you are entering into some kind of partnership or collaboration, really checking in with your intuition, because what you're here to do for the rest of November is protect this peace of mind, this peaceful moments throughout your day where you can sit and enjoy nature, sit and enjoy being with yourself. And that's one of the things that I like to talk about a lot is like as a kid, you don't really understand what a luxury it is to do things like take a nap or sit quietly uninterrupted while reading a book because you don't have anything to compare it to. Then when you grow up and you get a busy job or you have children, all of a sudden being alone sounds amazing sometimes, not all the time, right? But I know for me personally, I didn't see being alone as a luxury. I mean, I had no problem being alone. I was always kind of independent that way, as long as I got to be with my animals or be out in nature. But I do see it differently. I do see it as a luxury when I have an extended amount of time without interruption where I can do the work I want to do. For example, this numerology workshop I'm teaching on Thursday, I spent probably 3 hours doing a much deeper dive into part of the numerology that I study that really I won't even have time to bring up in this workshop. I'll be bringing it up in my community, Coffee with Devin. So those of you who are in that community, you'll get to see that down the road. I'm excited. But I just got this voracious appetite to dive deep into this particular method with numerology. I've studied in the past, but I hadn't updated it for the current era. And I was like, wow, that I haven't had a 3-hour period like that to just totally immerse myself in something I love in a while. I want to see if I can make that happen more often. And, you know, part of it is my kids getting older, there is more time because they're more independent and they're off doing things with their friends or sports or whatever. But this is what we're protecting for the rest of the month, is this quiet time alone to do that reflection. And that goes for all 12 signs. So I really encourage all of you to do that. All right, let's move over to the Leos. Lovely Leos. Hello, Leos. What do we have for you for the rest of November? Let's see. First, we have the Strength card. Look at that lion right there for you. You can't make this stuff up. Courage, compassion, perseverance for the Leos. Sorry about that, Leos. Hope that wasn't too loud. I've been waiting all day for a contractor to stop by. So there came the call. Okay, Strength, Leo. There you go. Courage, compassion, perseverance. I love it. Next, we have the Three of Wands card here. Beautiful energy coming through for you for the rest of the month. I am seeing you doing some really fun things with other people. And then we have the Food card, nourishment, relationships, or health. Yeah, like I do see you like getting out there more this summer. Where did that come from, Leos? In November. Now, maybe next summer too, you're going to be doing some traveling. Maybe some traveling plans are coming up for you guys. But this Strength card here with this huge lion just for you, Leos, is asking you to really be strong about what you want to see in your projects that you are feeling creative about, in your relationships, really protecting that with others. So what I'm seeing too is like maybe you're introducing people that are important to you to other groups of people. And this is going to be really fun and exciting. Remember, Leo, you can really show us the way to do that in a loving way. And with this Food card, I mean, I immediately just had this image of like, What are you doing for the holidays, Leos? I feel like you're going to be out enjoying life, really enjoying the pleasures of the world, trying new things, trying new foods, doing more creative things. And this is going to feed you. This is going to feed your energy. In fact, that's what I'm seeing here too, is if you can bring in some other people to hang out with and have fun with for the rest of the month, it's going to feed your soul. It's going to get you so excited for the things you're doing. And I think these projects or these plans or these goals you have for yourself, you're going to get a lot more strength by surrounding yourself with people who love you and support you. So this strength card here too is showing me that you are going to be very protective of your own nature with the people you work with. And I'm going to have to pause it one more time here. Okay, Leos, this is funny. I have to share this with you. With the Three of Wands card you have here, I literally had 3 different people show up at my house for different reasons, all in the time that I was starting your reading. So that's funny. You're bringing your passionate, fiery energy to today. I appreciate it. But yeah, I really do feel like you are going to get a lot of support by surrounding yourself with people who see you for who you are. They see the way you wear your heart on your sleeve, and they value that. They love how loving you are. They see how amazing you are, and they support you on that journey. And I keep hearing that feed your soul card. So maybe that means something more specifically to you as far as what feeds your soul. This is what gives you strength, working on that creative project, spending time with that loved one, your children, your grandparents, whoever it is. These are the things that are going to really bring you a lot of strength from now through the end of November. So definitely celebrating, enjoying, things that help you get excited about getting up in the morning and makes you go to bed early at the end of the day because you can't wait to get up again and do it again the next day. All right, Leo? So I love that for you guys. All right, let's move on to the Virgos. I was just making sure I actually did hit record there. It is Mercury retrograde. Okay, we have 5 of air here. Okay, mistakes, melodrama, reassessment. This is for the rest of November for Virgos. We have the Wheel of Fortune card. I like that. Things are beginning to move forward for you guys. And we have the Mugwort card, Rite of Passage. I bet you there's some Virgos out there that know what mugwort is good for. If you want to let me know in the comments. All right, so what I'm seeing for Virgos for the rest of November is this huge need to pull away from any kind of melodrama. In fact, I feel like you were getting this last week with my reading with Chris we were talking about what you need to know right now. Go back and re-listen to that or listen to it if you missed it, because there was this need for you to be seen for how much value you bring to the table. And a lot of times people feel threatened by that, Virgos. And when you walk through the door with your information and with your attention to details, it can sometimes cause other people to react and respond, RE, in ways that bring up drama. And you're just not having any of that right now, right? I feel like that's what it is. Now you have this Wheel of Fortune card here, and what it is showing you is if you can endure through this part of the month with trying to nurture yourself, to really stand in a place that allows you to look back on the year, look back on the last 5 years, like with this 9-year cycle, and really sit with that, you will see that ultimately what you've been going through is a rite of passage. And that is what I'm seeing for a lot of Virgos I know right now, that what you have been going through and what you are going through now is a rite of passage, as long as you are focusing on going higher with your thoughts, staying out of the drama, and really trying to focus on, all right, what are the things I can do right now to move things forward, but in a manageable way. We don't want to be doing too much right now, especially with this RE energy. All of us should be slowing down the way we do things. There's a lot of energy going on in the astrology that can make things a little bit more chaotic feeling. It can also add to the way the people we're surrounded by react to things, RE. And so what I'm seeing for the Virgos is any time that you can take for yourself between now and the end of the month to really protect your energy is going to be valuable. In fact, what I'm also seeing is trying to attach your to-do list to things that are for you too. So example, like every time you go run an errand, maybe you're scheduling a little time for a walk in the park during that errand or right after that errand. So everything you're doing throughout your day includes some kind of self-nurturing thing for you, because right now you're having to just really go through this cycle. For some of you, it may be grief. For some of you, it may be some healing that you're needing, whether it's physically, like with the physical ailment you've been dealing with, or it's an emotional healing, or both. But there is something that it's requiring you to sit with it, to really understand it, to really go deep, and to understand that this is an initiation. That's what Rite of Passage is really talking about here, is that you have been going through this as a transformation of your own energy, because you are going to be so needed as we move into this one cycle next year. And the collective is really going to be looking to you for ideas, for new ways of healing, for new methodologies out there to do things. And so you need this break right now that you're taking to just sit with the changes you've gone through. In fact, I'm just seeing, that statue, the thinking man. That's what I'm seeing for Virgos right now. Like, take all the time you need to sit still and be with your emotions, be with the healing that you need, and trust that that's still going somewhere. Because I think sometimes with this Wheel of Fortune card, especially if you're somebody who does like to get a certain amount of things done with your schedule every day and check off to-do lists, it can feel like you're not making any progress because you're sitting still, when actually it's the sitting still where most of the progress comes from. With this Mercury retrograde that we are experiencing right now, and we do have a new moon coming up. At the time I'm recording it, it's November 17th. On the 20th, we have a new moon with a Mercury cazimi, which is where the sun conjuncts Mercury. And you're going to have that idea to get those aha moments, that opportunity to, by sitting still. So that's why I feel like all of us should be really sitting down and relaxing and rethinking and just reviewing the year. I talked about this with Chris last week, Chris Reck from Minnow Pontero. He cracked me up because he says he doesn't really do a lot of New Year's resolutions or anything. But, I find that reviewing the things that I've done for the year help me really understand what intentions I want for the next year. Even if I'm not setting a big goal, even if I'm not setting a big resolution. In fact, I don't do resolutions either, but I will really contemplate the vibe I want for the following year. I want more time with my kids. I want more time at the beach. I want more time with my clients where we can work on independent projects. In fact, that's what I'm doing with Coffee at Devon. That was my intention. I want to go deeper on a lot of these topics, like numerology and astrology and energy healing and animal communication. I want to do all these things in a deeper way that is just not as easy to do on YouTube like I could within my community. And I knew that's where I was headed, but it took a lot of other things happening first in 2025 for me to get to the place where now I can finally do these deep dives. So that's where I feel like spending this time with yourself and allowing yourself to just review what you want for next year is actually doing something, even if it doesn't feel like it. It is moving that dial forward. All right, so let's move on to the lovely Libras here. Libra, for your first card, we have the Seven of Air. It is awareness, caution, consequences. We have the Eight of Swords, and we have the past life. Wow, look at that. Gifts and review. So this is interesting. You have these two air cards here, and of course you are an air sign, as you know. What I'm seeing with the Seven of Air card here, and I talk about this with Chris Reck all the time, this can be a card of lying, cheating, stealing. Maybe you're lying to yourself about something. Maybe somebody around you is not being very forthright. But it's also a card of being tactical. And with this Eight of Swords card here, it's really just being clear about where you want to remove your energy and where you want to put your energy, and being tactical about that. So what I'm seeing is, I feel like another RE word is remove. I feel like you're wanting to remove your energy from something between now and the end of the month, and you do need to be strategic about how you do it. Similar to what we got with it was the Aries, I think, about the King of Air card. It feels like maybe you're wanting to let a boss know you don't want to be part of a certain project anymore. Maybe you're letting a spouse know that, you really want to take more time to work on a creative project next year. So you don't want to, do something that maybe you always do with some of your resources, RE. I keep focusing on that. But I think it's also kind of like, you want to set yourself up for success in the next adventure that you go on. So what are some of the things that you can be tactical about right now, and that sets you up for success going forward? So I guess a really easy example would be, a lot of times people will wait to put their house on the market, at least here in the US, in the springtime, because that's around the time that people tend to start looking for houses so that they can move over the summer and get their kids started in school next year in the fall. So they wait and they put their house on the market then. Well, what are some things you could do right now that are strategic? Could you do some repairs around the house? Could you start shopping for realtors? Could you start looking for places that you might want to move to if your house sells? This is where the strategy comes in, so that by the time you're ready to hit that go button and, leave that job, leave that neighborhood, leave that group of people, you know where you're headed next. And I do feel like with this 8 of Swords card too, it is removing your energy from something. And it's almost like, I feel like, it's a repeating cycle that happens. For some of you, this could be a relationship that just keeps coming back, an ex coming back from the past, a cycle in relationships. Have you ever really thought about the patterns you see in relationships, whether it's friends, whether it's romantic partners, whether it's bosses, reflecting on the patterns you see, and what are some ways you can use new strategies? Like maybe it's, I always get the boss that loses his temper, and you review back to the times where you saw signs when you took the job that boss might be that person, but you ignored it because you wanted to people please, or you just didn't want to hassle with looking for something else. Now you're being more tactical about how you interview for jobs or how you learn about the people around you, if that makes sense. Now, this past life card here, this gifts and review, really is about going back through your history, maybe even over this past year, but really with all your relationships, and asking yourself, where are these repeating cycles, and where could I take a different approach that's not so confrontational, but allows me to break free of these old cycles? So I think there's something around that for you. And really, I feel like that makes sense, because when the sun moves into your third house from a solar perspective, if you're, a Libra rising, there's an opportunity to dream bigger than you've been dreaming. And so you kind of need to go through that review process to be prepared for what it is that you're going to go for. And that goes for all of us. That's what I was just saying to the Virgos. I feel like if we all take that time to review the things that we did this year, and the relationships and the encounters we had, and the things that were working and were not working, it really helps you get clear on the things you want in the next year and the things that you don't want. And what are some ways you can be tactical about releasing those things, right? So I do think with the RE word, we're going to see a lot of releasing of things from our past and embracing the new. And I think that's going to really benefit everybody. All right. And moving on to the Scorpios. Scorpios, for you, we have the 8 of Earth card here. Education, focus, and details. Love it. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Beautiful. And we have the Go for it card, reaching for your dreams. I love that for the Scorpios. The Scorpios, with this 8 of Earth card, obviously this is about really working hard at something and getting the rewards from working hard. And sometimes the reward is the good feeling you get from putting so much effort into something, but it also comes with a lot of other things too. And I feel like a lot of you have reviewed things over your birthday season and said to yourself, all right, I'm ready to finally take all my hard work and channel it into something that is really going to bring me the energy and the rewards that I'm looking for. However, this Knight of Pentacles card is a card of focusing your energy and really buckling down and getting things done. So what I feel like is going on is it's like you've got all these skills, you've got all this knowledge, but are you getting organized? Are you putting all of those resources into one place so that you can finally see the benefits of that? Now, this Go For It card is reaching for your dreams. So I feel like maybe some of you made some birthday wishes about where you want to see yourself by your next birthday. Maybe you're wanting to start a new business. Maybe you're wanting to take your current business or creative project to the next level. You are being asked to really channel your energy into this wish or intention you have set for yourself between now and the end of the month. Now, with this retrograde energy too, though, it could be that you're using this time to get organized, to review the things you've done. Maybe it's been a while since you've worked on a particular skill or something like that, so you're going back and reviewing it. I know for me, some of the things that I do all the time, I'll still, if I'm getting ready to go teach it or sit down with a client over something specifically, I will still go review a couple different things just to make sure they're really fresh in my mind. So the example would be this numerology workshop I'm teaching on Thursday, which again, if you're joining late, the link to join is totally free below. You can watch the replay if you can't make it live, but it's 11 a.m. Central on Thursday. We're going to talk about the numerology. That's what I was doing. I read one of my favorite numerology books from front to back. The first time I got it, I devoured it. I've got all these tabs in it. And I really, really immersed myself in it till I really felt like it was like a second language. But that was years and years ago. So when I was looking at, okay, what are the things I want to teach in this workshop and review with everybody who's going to be there, I went back and just refreshed my mind. See, RE. And I was reviewing my own numerology chart again, just, going even deeper. And it was really interesting to see the changes I've made with my work, with my patterns since I learned about my numerology to now, and how much I've actually embraced a lot of my numerology, and I was empowered to do that. So I feel like that's what's really coming on for you with this especially this Knight of Pentacles card, is just focusing on the things you have in front of you and seeing how they can aid you in what you're going for, because you are going for your dreams. So the easiest example I can give you is if you really want to start a YouTube channel teaching about something you know a lot about, grab your phone and use that. At least you can get started today. You don't have to have the big fancy equipment and the big studio and all the things to get started, but you do need to focus your energy into one place and go for it. So this is really exciting because we are moving into Sagittarius soon, and that's all about going for your dreams too. So wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, it's about reaching for your dreams. Use this energy the rest of September to get organized, to get started, and be willing to review your skills, review your knowledge. Even I will occasionally have to go think to myself, like, am I even using the best settings on my software, on my computer for recording these videos? So I will go review. I'll go see what's the latest technology. And I think this is something that you're really being asked to do, Scorpio, or whatever part of your chart you have Scorpio. It's just review some things, make sure that everything's functioning. And that's kind of the idea of a Mercury retrograde anyways, is this is where you'll find out that this is kind of one of those times where I'll find out that something is not working right in my newsletter, or I'll go ahead and redo something on my website, like I was talking about with the Aries. So really great time for that, Scorpios. And I just want to see you really channeling your skills and knowledge into something you want, because you really deserve it, Scorpios. All right, Sagittarius, what do we have for you guys for the rest of November? We have the Hermit card, introspection, self-discovery, and mentorship. We have Four of Cups. Beautiful. Interesting. I love that. I love that deck. Violet, spirituality, wisdom, and humility. Wow. So what I'm getting for the Sagittarius is funny. It's like you've been spending a lot of time doing that inner work, really reflecting on things. And then you haven't been as inspired by a lot of the things that you've surrounded yourself with lately. It's been a little bit hard for you to move forward with some of your ideas and goals. Some of you have made big changes, but then it's almost like, all right, what are the things, what else do I want to change? And I know a lot of people see this Four of Cups as a card of boredom, but boredom can actually be an opportunity to shake things up a little bit and look at things from a different perspective and actually bring things into this reality that spice things up. And what do you guys do, Sages? You bring the life to the party. You spice up the conversation, you spice up the room when you walk in. And this Violet card here, the spirituality, the wisdom, and the humility, is reminding you that you do have this amazing skill that you could be sharing with those around you, just like the Scorpios, as long as you channel that energy into something that excites you. And I do think that you need to ask yourself, what are the things that I'm feeling bored with? It could be you're just bored with your workout and you need to change it up a little bit. It could be that you're bored with your drive to work every day and you need to look for some alternate routes that go by a fun coffee shop or something like that. And I do think that this Hermit card is not asking you to go within necessarily. It's asking you to get off of, well, that's actually what Chris Rick talks about. Like, come down off the mountain and share your knowledge with the world, and then you won't feel quite so bored. I feel like you're going to see these opportunities coming up for you between now and the end of the month to get out there in a bigger way, to share your knowledge, to share your creativity, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. You know, it's not selfish to do the things that you're excited about because that's what we need. And then as we're entering into your birthday season and we're going into the holiday season and you're starting to be around people more, really trusting your inner wisdom is what's needed in that environment. So maybe you did just start a new job and you feel like you're not being challenged enough. Maybe people around you don't recognize how intuitive you are. There's going to be some opportunities to share your wisdom, to share your knowledge between now and the end of the month. So go ahead and come down off that mountain or come out of that spiritual closet you've been hiding in and definitely see how you can spice things up, things that you feel bored with, and see if you can find more ways to share your wisdom. And maybe it is a new and exciting way to do that. You've always just, gotten on the phone and shared your wisdom with a group of people or your friends, and now you are starting a podcast or you are writing that book. So I'm excited to see what you guys do with that, Sagittarius, but you are being asked to really share your wisdom and your liveliness and your fun with all of us. Set that great example like you always do and inspire everybody around you. All right, let's move on to the Capricorns. Capricorn, we have for you for the rest of the month the Awakening card. Look at that, 12. Pause, perspective, selflessness. Oh my gosh, so many cards of introspection and pausing, right? Especially with this retrograde energy. Queen of Swords, look at that. Very good. Lots of communication. And red, passion, survival. I love this, Capricorns. All right, so one of the things that I'm really feeling for the Capricorns for the rest of November is that you have been really working hard to complete some things this year, to bring some old habits to an end, to kind of wrap things up, and we're all doing that anyways, but it hasn't quite moved at the pace that would have been ideal, right? What you think would have been ideal. But the truth of the matter is, we don't know what else is going on behind the scenes. That's up for our spiritual team to know, for them to guide us. And I do think that you're being asked to look at something a little differently during the rest of November. What is a new way you can reframe things, reword things, and try not to assume an outcome is really what I'm getting here. Because with this Queen of Swords card here, which is of course another card of mastering communication, I think there is some reframing around things that Capricorns could really benefit with, especially regarding any current challenges in your life right now that seem upsetting. They're creating anxiety. Where is this coming from? Now, this red card, the passion, the survival card, I do think it's speaking to that. It's speaking to a doomsday type emotion, anxiety, things like that are coming up for you. And it's really about trying to go along for the ride versus trying to control the outcome. And that's what I'm seeing is if you're acting from a fight or flight type of energy, then this is going to only make things more challenging through the end of November. Instead, what we're really trying to do is go with the flow, trust that things are happening in divine timing. Things are happening for you, not to you, right? And so use your communication with your spiritual team. If you don't regularly work with your spiritual team, then check out my video below about who's on your spiritual team. This is your passed away loved ones, your guardian angels, ascended masters, your higher self, all kinds of amazing beings willing to work with you, okay? And maybe it's time to really master your communication with your spiritual team. This card of going within is about trusting divine timing, trusting the signs, and not reacting from a place of fear or anger, and instead allowing things to unfold the way they're meant to unfold. Now, I know Capricorns like to get things done, and so it can be frustrating when we feel like we don't have enough information or we feel like things aren't lining up, but this is your hall pass to go ahead and take some deep breaths and do the things you need to do to reduce that anxiety, to reduce any fear, flipping the script, get out that journal, do some automatic writing with your spiritual team, maybe read some books on ways you can reduce anxiety or reframe your thinking, and then of course doing things for a lot of nurturing. All of us should be doing that. Anyways, with this retrograde energy, it is a hall pass for all of us to do things differently, right? And a perfect example is right now. I normally do these readings at 11 a.m. Central, and I do them live. Well, lately, because of the way, really, the retrograde energy, honestly, and just different changes in my schedule, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do it the way I'm going to have to do it, meaning pre-record it, R-E, and it's going to air when it's going to air, hopefully later today. So I did want to just, give you that permission, Capricorns, to not push so hard between now and the end of the month, especially if it's a reaction from fear, anxiety, things like that. All right, Capricorns, and I'm right there with you, so sending you love. Okay, let's move on to the Aquarius. Aquas. Hello, Aquas. How are you? What do you need to know for the rest of November? We have 4 of air. Meditation, recuperation, and contemplation. I mean, all of us have gotten all 12 signs. This is why it's important to listen to all 12 signs. We have all gotten that it's time to go within, slow down, rest and relax. We have this 5 of Swords card here, okay? There's something we need more information about, something we're not clear on, and it's time to do some research, okay? Then the 3rd card we get is the Fire Opal card, sensuality and confidence. Wow, I love that for the Aquas. What I really feel here for you guys is the information that you are needing to move forward is going to come from you relaxing, recuperating. You've been through the grind this year, really for the last several years. You've had Pluto come in and out of your sign, and now it's here to stay for a while. So anytime you can add some extra time in your schedule for recuperating, for research, for anything like that, that's going to be really beneficial. But I do feel like you're going to get a lot of information just by changing the way you communicate. You're going to get clear. Like maybe you're one that likes to really dive into the books over a topic and read everything there is to know. And now instead you're going to go out and just start talking to people who have been there. You're just going to get like actual conversational information by talking to people who have been there. Maybe you're spending more time in meditation and asking for intuitive answers. And I do think with this Fire Opal card here, it's really more about embracing the parts of you that really want to rely on just your intuition, not the hard facts. But you have this ability to absorb so much knowledge, and you have this ability to share so much knowledge that sometimes you do get a little stuck in the intelligence side of it instead of relying on the intuition side. So basically what I'm saying is it's okay to go outside and lie under the stars and ask for the information versus having to read every book on the topic from front to back. Now, that may not be a good literal example for you. Like maybe you're thinking, oh no, I'm retired. I don't do that kind of deep dive and stuff anymore. But there may be some habit around trying new things, that you could take a different approach. You could take a more relaxed approach to something, and it's going to help you really embrace this slower energy. It's going to help you recover from a really, energetically draining time. And I do think that maybe even around your thoughts, I feel like for a lot of Aquariuses, you're still not fully stepping into your power. You're still not fully honoring how much you're bringing to the world right now and how much you still have to offer. So I just love this fire opal card. It makes me want to go find a fire opal and hold it. So maybe you have one in your house, or you can put a picture of one somewhere to remind you of the vast amount of information that's available to you by simply just going outside, being in nature, and communing with the environment, and just allowing that information to come through in that way. And remember, it's okay to slow down. I really feel like that's what we're all getting. I just had this for the Capricorns. If you're joining late, listen to the Capricorns too. This is not an energy of pushing. This is an energy of allowing. And honestly, let's face it, in reality, when is it ever an energy of truly pushing? Now, you can push yourself to try harder, you can push yourself to change your habits, but then that's going to take time. So you have to allow the time to go by for it to really take place. So I think that's what we're all doing here, is we're allowing the time to do the work it needs to do, and we're holding space for the change that's needed. So let's move on to the Pisces, and then we'll do your bonus messages. Pisces. All right, for the Pisces, we have, you got the Tower card, transformation, realization, life change, liberation. Big time changes coming in for you guys between now and the end of the month. Definitely with this retrograde energy. Now you have the Two of Pentacles card here. So you're having to make a choice. You know what? I think you're the one causing this Tower moment here. And I learned from Tarot Master Chris Reck the best. And I'm telling you, I'm with him. Transformation is a good card. And it's usually something that we do on our own. Now we have this School card, lessons. Wow. Okay, so Pisces, you're bringing in some kind of major change. And what you're being asked to do is really put your time and energy into something that you want, really focusing on that. You've learned your lesson the hard way. That's what I'm seeing with this School card. There's been some ups and downs. There's been some moments of vulnerability and humiliation. There's been some things where, you felt like you took 2 steps forward and then 5 steps back. But it's time to really review the things you've done. And this is for everybody. I know I keep saying this, but you're the one bringing in this change, Pisces. And the way that you do that is you get off the fence. You make a decision. You go wholeheartedly into something, right? If you've been afraid of getting your heart broken, so you've stayed single, when you meet that person that inspires you, you really commit to getting to know that person. It doesn't mean you have to get married, but you're doing that. If it's really applying for that job you weren't sure that you were quite ready for, if it's finally having that conversation with your boss about the raise you deserve, it's finally letting go of something that brings stability, but you're also like, if I keep this, I can't ever move on to the thing I want to really do. I want to be moving on from this. I do feel like there's some kind of graduation type energy for Pisces. Like you're moving on to something that you're like, I did the work. I learned what I needed to learn. Time to move on. And I do think that with this Two of Pentacles card, it's going to require you just making that choice. Again, something may be a little out of balance. I guess the easy example would be you're telling yourself you want to get really in shape for maybe a fitness competition, but you're spending 3 times as much of your free time on the couch as you are in the gym or working out, right? And that's just a really easy example, but it's like something's out of balance. If you could just take a little of that TV time on the couch and put it towards something healthy, you're going to make more progress. And I feel that's what you're trying to do, because in the past, it's almost like you've tried to balance things, but you haven't really seen the things that are putting things out of balance. So now, between now and the end of the month with this retrograde energy, I think you're letting go of something that, while you loved it, it served its purpose, you're also saying, it's not worth the energy anymore. I want to go put my energy into this other thing here because I've been there, done that, and now it's time to do something new and exciting so I can really put all my energy into that. All right, I have a feeling you already know what this is, Pisces, too, so it's not going to be a surprise. That's why I see this transformation card as something you're doing, some transformation you're making between now and the end of November. All right, let's move on to the bonus messages here. Just one more quick reminder about my workshop. And by the way, thank you so much for liking and sharing my videos. It really helps my channel grow. I always forget to ask. I don't always forget to ask, but I feel like I've been forgetting to ask. Please leave a comment below. It helps, and like and share this video. But this Thursday, November 20th at 11 a.m. Central, I have my numerology workshop totally free. All you have to do is sign up at the link below. No strings attached, but if you can't make it live, there will be a replay as long as you sign up. It's just not something I'm doing on YouTube. So make sure you're signed up so I can have that delivered to your inbox if you can't join me live. And actually, even if you do join me live, we're still going to have the replay. So I really would love to see you there. It was so interesting to go all the way back to 1908 and see every time we've had these 1 in 9 cycles, what we've had. So I'm going to be talking about the themes we saw. But I'm also going to show you how to apply this to your own personal life with your own numerology. So we'll be going over that. We'll have a Q&A. I'm going to chat a little bit about my community, Coffee with Devin. We're going to be doing even more deep dives into numerology and these types of topics. All right, let's move to the collective bonus reading here. We're going to get some kind of bonus messages and then some actions to take. So here we go. First card we have for the present energy here is the 6 of Fire. Look at that. Success, recognition, and self-esteem. The next card we're getting for the near future is the 2 of Air card. Indecision and avoidance. Interesting. And then the future card is the Knight of Water. Yes, we do have these grand water trines we're activating here. Romantic, emotional, and dramatic. Now let's get your action cards and we're going to pull this all together. Wow, those came right out here. So your first action card is 5 of Earth. We're going to move out of worry and lack of resources. And your second action card is 2 of Fire. Planning, partnering, and progress. These are your action cards. So let's get started with the present energy here. With this 6 of Fire, it's basically, look, it's got the RE word right there, recognition. It's basically saying you really need to give yourself credit for the things you've done this year. Please do that right now. We're not doing it on New Year's Eve. We're not doing it next year when we're bored in the middle of winter, or for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe bored in the heat of the summer. But you are giving yourself credit for the things you have done, for the things that you've realized you don't want in your life anymore, and the things you're moving away for. This is important that you are giving yourself credit. Now, a lot of times people see this card as other people recognizing you, and that is something that could very well be something you need to acknowledge, that other people are recognizing your skills, they're recognizing your creativity, and you're not accepting that recognition, right? Giving and receiving, it goes both ways. If somebody gives you a compliment because you're so good at something, receive that compliment. Say, I receive that, okay? And moving into the new future card with this 2 of Air, indecision, avoidance, and confusion, I do think that once you own that, you own your gifts, you own the things you're good at, you're going to be faced with a decision. You're going to have to choose to leave that friendship, leave that group of people, move, ask for that raise, make that plan to take a trip that you've wanted to take. There's going to be something around that. It's okay if you don't make the decision right now. It is a confusing time with all this retrograde energy. So they're just letting you know you're going to probably recognize something, but then you're going to not really know what to do about it until we get past all this retrograde energy, Mercury's direct, and we're fully into December, right? So then we can just look at this future card here, which says romantic, emotional, and dramatic. This is about really trying to focus on the things that bring you romance into your life and saying, I don't know where this is going. Things are confusing. but I want this feeling of a love of life. That's where I'm headed. So if you're not feeling that way about something, you don't have enough information, or it's not time to act on that decision. And I do feel like that's what's coming up. Is it's like, maybe you are getting a job offer, or you are getting an opportunity to travel or to go out with somebody, and you're just not sure how it's going to look or how it's going to feel. Hold space for that. Not anybody really knows right now. Things are way too murky. So just try to keep your eye on the ultimate feeling that you want and just get through this energy. And then with this 5 of Earth card, this is a card of action. This is about going higher. Remember, this is just a blip on the radar, this time where we're feeling confused, this time where we're feeling a lack of abundance. Instead, we're going to pull down information from our spiritual team, and we're going to say, hey, I need your help with this. I need a loud and clear sign about what to do going forward. Please send it to me now. That's what I'll ask my spiritual team. Send me a loud and clear sign. And then this 2 of Fire card, your second action card, planning, partnering, and progress. Partner with your spiritual team. Ask them to send you the people that are going to help you with this 6 of Fire card here, that are going to help you get to where you want to go. This is the kind of thing where you can ask for help finding that dream job, and then a friend calls you out of the blue and it turns out that their job is hiring for somebody. Or, you're standing in a coffee line and you overhear that, a place down the road is hiring from somebody standing in line. You can ask for signs, and we forget to do that, especially when this energy is murky like this. That's the most important time to go higher. And it's always good to check in with your intuition. It's always good to do that, but especially when things are feeling cloudy, waiting for the right time to act and focusing on what's that ultimate feeling that you want. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit more of a prompt right now. I'm going to ask you to start thinking about what you want the emotional overtone to be for you next year. Do you want a feeling of peace and slow, methodical daily routines? Do you want a feeling of action and adventure and trying new things? Do you want a feeling of creativity where you're constantly you're making time to do your creative projects and getting excited to really dive into something? Think about that. Those are all good things. You can have more than one thing, but I do find that there tends to be kind of an overarching theme each year if we really ask our heart what we want, because really the universe doesn't move that quickly. We have time to go for the things we want. That's why this numerology workshop is going to be very valuable for you to have in your back pocket as we move into 2026, so you can reflect back on past 9-in-1 cycles for yourself, for the collective. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about, is ways that you can use the numerology to help you get clear, because right now things are kind of murky, and help you hold space for the dreams that you want to bring into your world. So make sure you've signed up for that free webinar below. Links below, my free numerology workshop. If you can't make it live, no problem. You'll get the replay. You definitely have to go into your inbox and make sure it goes to your inbox. Check your spam if you don't get the link, because I'm going to email you the Zoom link directly when you sign up. So if you don't get it, check your spam. But I really hope to see you guys there. Next week, we will be doing December messages. Can you believe we're already there for that? So make sure to join me. I don't know if it's going to be live. Like I said, normally I'm live at 11 a.m. Central on Wednesdays, but lately things have been pretty busy, and that's the day before Thanksgiving next week. So things are up in the air. Either way, there will be something for you. I will either pre-record it or I will be here live. So much love to all of you. Hope to see you at the workshop. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.